Hot. Sound is hot now.
Can you guys hear us?
Sound is hot now.
Okay,
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, hot.
Oh, I'm delayed on John's delay.
Yeah. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new system here.
Got that
If you could only see the wires in Power Athlete HQ right now.
we decided to upgrade our system and actually get a real camera with a microphone, and instead of just our jankiness with my 11-year-old DSLR that I bought in 2009, so we decided to upgrade the camera system so that
Should we start that shtick over that we introed with?
What shtick?
What day is it?
Was that shtick?
I just thought that was reality.
So I've been sending, which reminds me,
Oh, there's one.
this is Instagram. It's basically X-rated. I feel like everybody's got that group text that's just kind of been going on for a decade. I feel like so I've been meaning to just send every morning at 6 a.m. the scene from Groundhog Day. The all alarm clocks scene, just every morning Groundhog Day. Because a lot of these dudes,
campers.
like a lot of these dudes are stuck in their homes with their wives or their
Kids.
roomies and kids, and it's like every day is the same day. Rise and shine, campers. But I forgot today, so that broke the streak of 3 days.
It was funny.
This feels like week 400, but it's really only week 2.
Yeah, my brother-in-law called and asked if
You
my
could
nephews-
mail him some stuff for
No.
Third Monkey.
Well, if my nephews could do the bodyweight stuff on Third Monkey.
Well, why not cinder blocks?
I don't know. They're 5
Perfect.
and
Move
3.
cinder blocks around.
I was like, yes, just get them exercising. It doesn't matter.
The battery back there.
I don't know what's going on. For them, test, toast. Don't they just have to run as fast as they fucking can, Tex?
Yeah, try, effort,
Yeah.
intention.
But he thinks he wants like a little structure to it.
Yeah. So and then I told him, and it was on my list, just get him a 6-pound medicine ball, throw and
Chase.
go chase in the backyard. 'Cause
Yeah.
They got a pretty big backyard.
So we, like I said, with Tractor Supply on Sunday, we had to get feed for the deer feeders, and the bags are like 50-pound bags. And so I got 4 corn, and then I get 4 deer nuggets, so they get some protein. And so I put them in the back of the truck. And my job for the girls was they had to unload them out of the truck.
Oh god.
So,
Those
so
the teamwork there had to be
the joys of being a father is like small. I have never laughed so hard because one, they're yelling at each other the whole time as they're like trying to find, and like the corn's kind of moving, and they like didn't figure it out. So then one of them tried to grab it, and then the other one tried to grab the bag and smush it against the other one, and then they were like on the side of it. They dropped it, then they like kind of oh dude, I was. They're like, we have to do this. I'm like, yeah, you gotta unload the bags. I put them in. This is your job. You have to unload the bags.
Yeah.
And I sat there and watched, and then they were like, is Cash gonna help? I'm like, no, he gets to watch too. So I put him on the tailgate, and we just watched them like do just an awful job of trying to unload these bags. And I have never laughed so hard in my whole life. I was like, this is the best. And so finally, after they were like on the verge of meltdown, I just was like, okay, here we go. Just threw them in the back of the side by side so we could load them.
One-handed.
Yeah.
And then
I'll do a pinch today.
and then the best is then they argue about who gets to sit in what seat in the side by side, and so then all 3 kids in me are trying to sit in the front seat because nobody will give up the front seat. And then we get out and load them, and then their job is they have to go around and bomb the ant mounds with the ant bait. And then they're like arguing, that's not an ant mound.
Do they like doing that? I think as a kid, as a grown up, I still like. Oh, you
Fucking
I
ants.
love killing fire ants.
Oh, it's there's a few joys. One of them is watching your 8-year-olds try to unload these 50-pound bags, which I think people be like, oh, it's so awful. You're such a terrible father. I'm like, no, I should have videoed it and put it on YouTube. I probably get 1 million hits. And killing ant mounds, and then putting deer in the feeder. So
Deer in the feeder.
I mean,
yeah, like
deer
here.
feed
Oh,
in the
cannibal.
Like
feeder.
deer in the feeder.
Yeah.
What's that cannibal deer disease?
Wasting disease. What is it?
I can't remember.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the next thing to jump to humans. And
Oh
Could
yeah,
be.
no, that's what they were nervous about. That guy that was on Rogan talked about.
Well, if it jumped to cattle,
oh yeah.
that's when it becomes a real problem.
Yeah. So not humans. We'll just eat. We don't eat humans. We're not worried about them.
So
But,
anyone, you get into anything? Was that yesterday or was that this weekend?
No, last night as I went saw Dr. Bob to work on my shoulder. I was like, let me cruise by Salt and Thyme and see what they got. I went in there, and so I was like perusing the meat, and I could tell that the girl behind the counter, and I've been in there enough times, like I know who works there. She must have been new, and so I was like, ooh, those are pretty good. And my first question, like obviously you see the prices. How much do they weigh? Because I need to know if I get one or two. And then she pulls up like the tag with the weight, and she's like with the amount, and kind of gives me like one of these, and I'm like, no, I can read. I know how much it is. I want to know how much they weigh. That's when you take the meat thingies and you put it on that silver thing that puts out the numbers for weight. And she was like, and the dude who's the meat cutter's like, I got this, and like sent her away. And he's like, sorry about that, she's new. I'm like, okay. And he's like, and then we weighed him up, and then he like brought her over and like showed her how to wrap the meat, and it was pretty funny. She was like,
hey, she's got a job.
she does, and all I could think of is fucking millennials, like you know.
We're back.
Technical difficulties. Luke, you thought of everything.
It's being thinking in a network versus a line. That serial thinking versus nonlinear thinking. It's nightmare of a trait. But we're back, baby.
No, I have not mowed the grass. That's a real big problem because it rained.
Well, Cash walking down from the gym, he's like, "Daddy, is that a forest?" It's like, no, that's like the paddock.
Well, dude, the problem is the mower went down in my like 3-day window, and I bought new plugs for it and threw them in last night. And all of a sudden, it was like pouring rain, and I'm like, oh. And then you can't mow for like a couple days because if it's so wet, it'll just clog the mower.
Yeah, I'm with
So
you.
now I'm in this like holding pattern, and I just see like I was laughing at the cam pictures from my trail cams because I can see the deer, and then I see pictures of them jumping through the grass.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, these things, this grass is like a veritable forest. Poor Cashy's gonna get lost out there. But yeah, no, we cooked those steaks. The kids crushed them. I didn't want to be like the weird Instagram dude and like taking pictures of my food, but I was like, as they were cooking, I'm like, fuck, this looks pretty good.
I think food pics are totally acceptable. 100%. Like, well, if you have my grace, so that's
Yeah.
what you're searching for. I just think, like, man, seeing people, the amount of cast iron steaks in my feed has ramped up. So, like, people are just at home, like, I'm gonna make some ribeyes. You know what I mean?
No, I really think the taste out of like a seasoned cast iron pan
Yeah, dude.
is fucking legit. Like,
So I do maybe you. It had to have been you, right? Like the heat up the pan super hot.
yeah.
So, like. Let's see what happens. We're back for now.
We're not back yet.
Well, to them, we're back.
Oh, we're back, but okay, so the delay is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. Okay.
We did it.
We did it. Woo! That was a close one.
Another break. We need. You know what we need is like commercials. just add some more sponsors.
Is it the rock on? Focus.
All right. Fuck. Hopefully that's the last one. I have no. We got to figure out what's going on with the camera. Anyways, McQuilkin, what'd you get into last night?
Monday's piano day,
And
and I reached some frustrations, but then I had
Did you break the piano with a bat?
no. Can't do that because
simply testing its
very difficult to
durability.
get out.
And since it's
It's
made of wood
wood. I decided to put it with his family.
in the
Well,
firewood
but-
pile.
I do have.
We come over and it's
Massive
in
fire
if it's in
The fire
it's,
pit.
It's in the burn pit, and like we're like, oh, how your piano list is doing? He's like, well, I wheeled
Don't go to the
that
backyard.
I wheeled that piece of crap over to the burn pit and burned it.
So I bought an axe. No kidding. Just entered I'm over my learning curve in the beginning. So
Yeah.
we've reached
How
this
did you
stage.
get the piano to your house?
Jupe?
Yeah.
No. There's this neighborhood that's across from Luke's that's very windy that leads down to, I think it's Lake Travis. What's the lake back
Yeah,
behind?
yeah.
So the most impossible driveway of all time. I imagine Jupe gave you the rundown, the story. My truck barely made it down to get this point, and then Jupe and I had to lift the piano. I almost died, but finally got it up, strapped it up. Lady didn't even wait for us to see if we could get up the driveway. As soon as it was out of her garage, she just closed the door and watched, through the peek holes.
She didn't want you to leave it there. She's like, okay, it's yours now. You have to take it.
Yeah, but we were able to get it, and so now we're in learning mode.
Now you're a pianist.
No, yes, I'm a pianist.
You're a pianist.
Yesterday we had so Ruby's on the turds, like little turd nuggets, solid, rock solid turds.
Oh, like
There's
a rabbit?
Bigger, like pretty impressive.
Something that
Easily a swollen thumb.
Huh?
So we had 4 of those.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. It's like you normally fill the diaper and you're like, what is that?
Yep.
Are they hiding things?
And I mean, they're not even smashy. So she's a little dehydrated because they're not smashy into the crack. They are like dried owl pellets. So that was exciting. I don't know. And then we got some scooch. So she's getting a little mobile. So we got the slug movement, so it's not quite a crawl. So that was our big breakthrough. And an otherwise just dreary and defeated day of this fucking system that I thought I had figured out and just coming in to kick me in the nuts. And I just went straight to bed at 7:45, 8 o'clock. So I was just fucking beat yesterday. But
After we watched, or after we ate, we have our nightly tradition of Cashy somehow taking the clicker and turning on Into the Spider-Verse. I'm sure Netflix has got something where if you watch the same movie hundreds of times, they probably just block it on you at some point.
Yeah.
I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, we're going to turn it on. Spider-Verse isn't going to be on here. And he's like, no.
you only have so many. Yeah.
Dude, we've every single day, and I'm like, there's other movies, and he's like, nope, he's just stuck on Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm like, God, the fact that he's a Post Malone fan bothers me, but
Number 1, Netflix was Tiger King. Number 2 is something called All American.
So
it's
what's this Tiger thing?
I say don't worry about it because it brings down your IQ.
I'm not going to watch it.
But the All American, that's what my sister and brother-in-law are all into. It's basically another Friday Night Lights drama.
Oh,
football, high
I
school.
remember seeing it when we threw on Spencer Undercover. Or
Oh,
whatever.
I saw that pop up on Netflix, and I was like, I clicked on the preview, and I'm like, this is absolute dog shit.
No! What? Show's over. Well, what do you guys got for training today? I'm dressed in rest day apparel. I woke up today and I need to catch up. So, what do you got?
I gotta just do some upper body stuff. I'm gonna do some shoulder rehab, and I think I gotta do some single arm bench. I think I'm gonna start doing push-ups today.
Sweet.
I was supposed to go to PT at 7:30, and my guy Tony from the Erosti, he canceled on me at 9:30 last night. And it was kind of a frantic text message of I don't have COVID-19, but things are pretty crazy. So I'm gonna cancel this week, and maybe we'll get back together next week. And I was like, this is kind of strangely cryptic. Do you have the coronavirus? No response. I'm like, did somebody come in and cough in your face? I mean, yeah, I don't know. And then I'm just I don't know. Have you guys been following Turley at all?
No.
No. So my ex-teammate Kyle Turley, one of my good friends, he is big into the medical marijuana deal, and like he's been posting a bunch of stuff that like you can combat like COVID-19 through through the cannabis and weed and everything, and he seems to believe in it. Man, if it's that easy, then California should be fine. So maybe we can just legalize marijuana everywhere. Because I was thinking like in California, I think it was my brother or my mom sent me like alcohol sales are up 6,000%. So people are just like, and the joke my brother had, it's like Vegas.
Yeah.
People are losing money, you don't know what time it is, and everybody's having drinks. It doesn't matter what time it is. So, which is good for my brother who's a lawyer, because he's like, yeah, people are, he's like, people aren't out driving around, they're sitting at home getting drunk, but he's like, probably a lot of weird shit comes out of it.
But then that's like, that increase in sales is disproportionate to what people would spend at
Yeah.
Restaurant.
Cassidy's
Well, did you see,
on a Tuesday.
what was it, Cheesecake
I did.
Factory and all their subsidiaries
Yeah,
are
can't
like,
make rent today.
yeah, that can't make rent.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. A huge, they have like 120 locations, Cheesecake Factory. And
More than
and then in 2 weeks they can't make rent.
Yeah.
Thin margins.
bummer, man.
Yeah. So I was pretty, not excited, but the other night when I was like, man, this thing's supposed to be up September 5th or April 5th. And I'm like, okay, that means like next, Monday we got one more week. And then I saw when Trump extended to April 30th. I'm like,
Yeah.
man.
Well, Tex, what do you got? COVID's out.
Okay.
What do you got on training today?
Potentiation. So basically, this is full body every single day, but then primal, bench press.
Yeah.
So excited for that. And then Wednesdays, I'm gonna, based off my list, I felt creative for today's question, to dive into some Wednesdays and Saturdays, some more sprint.
What? So give more about potentiation. What's going on?
Potentiation, typically found in training in post activation potentiation, meaning you squat heavy or do something heavy, and then explosive like hurdle jumps. So this cycle, we're just using potentiation, but not only after major lifts. We use potentiation to activate you to lift heavier. Use potentiation following some rep maxes to then get more explosive. So mixing around the activation rather than just doing lift heavy jump. Finding creative ways to jump to bring more out of your movement.
Nice.
Of anything.
And I'm on rest day, people. And if you don't have a plan, because you don't have equipment, you don't have space, you don't have money, why else don't people train?
Time.
Lazy.
Time? Well, you got plenty of time, people, because you're stuck at home. We have a free program open to everybody. It hits your inbox every day. It's called Third Monkey. We have a $50 equipment list. If you need an austere, super cheap at-home gym, you can do that at your local hardware store with bags of concrete, 5-gallon buckets, and cinder blocks. And the training is written for you to continue to progress in this time of quarantine with these very simple implements. So that is Third Monkey, powerathletehq.com/code. And we're back from our break.
Okay, good. But yeah, it's tough to keep driving adaptation and body weight movements because the only variable you have is volume. So what we put together with the Third Monkey program was finding implements that are easy to attain, simple, that you can, household items, things at Home Depot, so we can find different ways to weight. And then there's also, that component of field strength. And the major component from Field Strong from years ago was the lifting of heavy and hard implements. And, just the Third Monkey takes that to task and really puts it out there. And really that austere program that, we've developed for the military. So it's killer.
Yeah, I got an article dropping today.
Sweet.
Dives in a little bit, so a short, sweet read that just puts more emphasis on what makes it different than the body weight options you have available.
And I'm working on my post-apocalyptic survival kit.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
So it's it's not only going to include vehicles, it's going to include weapons, where you can procure these weapons, some are like my personal favorites, and then also some survival things, like not only like garden, chickens, animals, like some other things, and like the ancillary items that you need to make this happen. So I think it'll be pretty good. I'm pretty excited about it. As I started drawing up this thing, man, like it was cool. As I was going through like my Instagram where I've like saved things, I was like, oh, look at that knife. I can't believe that thing is epic. Okay, that's it. And so, but just the cool thing is like looking at like how you go with weapon choices. Like obviously you need, have everything's got to be suppressed. You got to have not only like ammo, but I was like, you got to also have a weapon that, in case all of your bullets are gone, that you can fight with. So do you go with the samurai sword like they have in like The Walking Dead, or a battle axe, Tracker Tom Brown style, or what do you go with? So I've been putting together what I consider to be your loadout kit, your mobility with your vehicle, and then in your home space, like how you survive with it. So rainwater collection. Here in Texas, I've been really kind of fascinated by the idea of like planting a garden, but all the local people that I've talked to have been like, the ground's too rocky. But right out here, Perkins said that they grew fruit trees. So, but then Turley sent me this bitchin' thing, which was a shipping container, like a 10 or 20 foot shipping container. That's built like a ready-made greenhouse that they can just drop anywhere.
Like hydroponics?
Hydroponics it was designed to grow food. And like the amount of food that you can grow in that 20 or 10 little hydroponic deal is massive.
Turley must be growing all sorts of food in there.
No, I think he's growing weed.
6 packs of big soda.
So, but I like, he sent it to me and he's like, he's probably got some crazy weed thing growing. And I'm looking at it being like, man, we could grow tomatoes in there.
Yeah, right.
We could grow like all this food. So like, I think that would be pretty neat to have. And then obviously you have chickens. We have my large collection of deer that show up and eat. And then I think I got to start hunting these fat raccoons. Like all my cams, man, like this family of like 10 fat raccoons shows up and they eat all the feed.
So historically, in your zombie preparation articles, it's been mostly about like defensive or offensive equipment. Do you think you're going to include like, I guess, so part of this post-apocalyptic life, regardless of the cause, is going to be hunting and game, right?
Yeah.
So do you think you're going to put some of that stuff in there?
Yeah, I really like. I mean, obviously the bow because it's silent, but I think the problem with a bow is you just can't hand the bow to anybody. Like, let's say it's you and your family, and you hand here's your wife the bow.
Yeah, she's trying to draw.
Yeah, she did the job. So I think that there's this. Have you guys seen 10 Point makes these crossbows?
I've seen. I know what a crossbow is, but I don't know what a 10-point crossbow is.
Dude, I think our good friend of the show, friend of Power Athlete Baker Levitt sent me this link for these 10 points. They're like shooting laser beams at like 100 yards with these crossbows. They're like $2,500, and like they have a red dot on them, and like you can hand them to pretty much anybody, and as long as they have the mechanics of like put it against their shoulder, line up the red dot, and like if it's sighted, you pull the trigger, you're like on target. So something like that, like I think something that anybody in the family, like, hey, if you see it, take this, go out and get it, and then just making sure you're a good environment. as I was kind of thinking about it, my wife and I were talking, and she's like, would you feel differently about this quarantine if we were back in Costa Mesa, Newport Beach? I was like, 100%. Can you imagine
No.
if like we were holed up in our homes and like we somehow the only way we could get was get the little power athlete? Oh, dude, that would be. I mean, just because the lack of people around, the tweakers
Dude.
must be owning that place.
Yeah, like there's no way to be 6 feet from anybody.
No,
No, I mean,
no.
like, man, that's got to be an interesting environment. But,
and then you got to have a vehicle. I mean, obviously, we saw what happened when the hurricane happened because gas shortage was huge. So you got to have either something like a diesel where you can run biodiesel, or you got to have something electric, but something that needs to get recharged. So I've been just digging into a lot of different options, and and then the other one is if you had a vehicle that had like wind power and some other thoughts. So, but I think hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But I get
no, it's not for this. This is for in general, for the real show. For the real show.
Well, what kind of made me a little nervous was seeing all the pictures of people lined up around the around the buildings at the gun stores, and like every gun is sold, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
And like people not knowing that there's like a 10-day wait and all the stuff they have to do in California. I thought they were like, wait a minute, you can't deliver the gun to my house? What do you mean I can't take it home? And so I think it's interesting that people that have never bought guns are seeing like how rigorous the process is. Like you got to have a permit in California. You got to have a permit to buy a handgun, and then once you buy the handgun, you got to wait 10 days to get it. Like there's all these like kind of hoops you have to jump through, and I think people just weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes me nervous that people that never thought they needed a gun all of a sudden in this environment think that they need weapons. That could be potentially ugly.
So we have topics to discuss on this show. Is that right, McQuilkin? The topic today does have a little bit of a like current situation twist to it, but I think it's going to be a fun thought exercise. So what do we got?
All right.
All right. I wonder if Matthew McConaughey is doing.
Chilling.
Yeah, you making videos to inspire us? Here we go. If Trump gives you each that $1,000 check, what piece of training gear would you spend it on?
Who wants to go first? I have a few different scenarios here.
Take it.
So, I feel like $1,000 would be well spent on, what would it be? So would it be 250 pairs of Vans? Just be set with Vans for life? 50 years worth of Vans. Because Vans last. Back from our commercial break.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we're back on. All right, so you're going with 50 pairs of Vans.
I think so. That's option one. Because, like, number one, I don't like a large purchasing decision. Like buying a car, just like, there's this big lump of cash. How can I allocate it? There's so many different ways. But if I can buy out of a small purchasing decision for 50 years, I think it's pretty tempting. So that's my start. That's option one I have to weigh.
But you gotta hold those bands somewhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of storage. Well, you probably hide them upstairs.
Yeah, I put it where I put all my stuff. Somewhere around John's.
I
learned that from DJ.
Yeah, DJ. I'm like, what is this over here? And I'm like, DJ's like just randomly shows up at midnight and delivers things. Yeah.
So, what do you got?
I'm leading off, if we're going piece by piece.
Okay.
I'm leading off, do you remember in high school, hurdles?
Peaking? Oh, yeah.
No, hurdles for track.
Yeah.
I always freaking wanted us to get some, and now I realize, because they're so damn expensive, so I got this free money, I'm gonna go ahead and buy, so they're $120 each.
Yeah.
So if I get 4 to 5 of these things, That's a good stretch or run. So for JV track, I did run hurdles, so I got some technique, and I'd be interested to get up to where I was.
Did you watch? Did you see the girls doing their hurdles yesterday?
I
Yes.
did.
It's
So
pretty
that's
good.
what
So
sparked a.
yesterday I realized for them I'm gonna have to probably find a balance beam and some form of like tumbling mat. So like that's
Pommel
kind of
horse?
no,
Or not something else?
No, that's for the boys. But so like they have these like little balance beams that you can like put flat on the ground and you can lift them up. So I'm gonna have to find them a balance beam because they can't go to gymnastics. And then what we do is when they're doing their schoolwork. So I came home yesterday and had to help them with all their schoolwork. And so like we kind of work in like 20-minute blasts. Like they'll work for 20 minutes and then I'm like, go do 10 cartwheels and then like work on your handstands. And so we kind of like go back and forth. And I've convinced them that there is compelling research that shows that after you learn something, if you do something athletic that changes orientation, it ingrains it and makes you smarter. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I'll pull up the research right now if you don't believe me. And they're like, okay. So now they've gone and they'll like work for 20 minutes and then cartwheels, handstands, or some form of like movement stuff.
This is going to be hilarious because they're going to go back to school.
And then they're
Two
just going to get up and just do cartwheels.
More hilarious, their teacher's going to tell them something and they're like, really? Show me the research.
Yeah. And then I decided like, Killy was like, this is too easy. So I was like, we have hardwood floors, put on socks. So I made her put on socks to do the cartwheels. So she was trying to run and then do the cartwheels and land them in socks, which was actually pretty funny. So we had that one. What I'm going to buy is what I've always really wanted, which will actually complete the gym and complete me, is the coveted hammer incline machine. I want the hammer incline machine. Facebook knows I'm searching for it because every time I pop up, there's like gym equipment. Because I always enter in, I'll be like hammer incline, and like the closest one I've found is in Dallas. But as you guys know, Dallas might as well be the moon because of the drive. So hammer incline, but I think in reality, we're never getting that Trump check. But before that happens, I got to try to find or buy a balance beam and then some form of like tumbling or crash, like something, because they were kind of like, they wanted something where if they like do like work on their round offs, they can land it and not like fucking bust their head on the rubber. So I got to try to find something that way. I was like, we got a pasture full of tall grass. I'm sure, look how soft that stuff is out there. You could just do, and they were like, no, I'm not going in there.
Landon and beds. Real soft.
Dude, watching them, so this is the funny part of the dichotomy of my kids. So Killy's wearing like tall rubber boots because she's like, goes to the barn, you wear rubber boots because you can hose them off, you get horse shit or different stuff on them. Jamie, on their hand is wearing flip-flops. So when they're out there at the ant mounds, Killy's like pouring the stuff and then Jamie's yelling because of course the ants are like biting her toe. I'm like, I'm like, why don't you wear rubber boots? I don't like them. I'm like, oh God. It's funny, man.
I do think if I'm going swooping back into equipment, and I don't know because I've meant to do the research, did not do the research.
Calf raise?
Is there some sort of combo calf raise? Like a so seated, standing, possibly like hack squat variation of a calf raise?
Sore neck?
You know what I'm talking about?
So it's really easy to do calf raises standing, like with the safety bar squat. Like you get like a piece of wood and we do the rock backs, and there's like a million different ways.
But there's balance associated with that.
Sure.
Which I'm okay doing that, but I also want a calf raise where I don't have to balance and I can just move big weights.
Well, what about the
to
pitch
impress you
arc?
guys.
No.
You got the pitch arc.
Still too much balance.
The J squat. So the J.
There's handles.
I want to be hugged by a piece of machinery
No, the Sornex J
for
squat.
once.
The Sornex J squat.
I'm listening.
So the arm that you put on, that is the belt squat.
Yeah.
But then instead of squatting, you sit down and just use the J that's plugged into the rack. To do your calf raise, and then you can stand up with it.
Who's our firefighter buddy who's got all the Sornex gear?
Henry.
Henry, who's chiming in right now.
Yeah. And I only remember the handles, but I was laughing. He loaded like every plate he could on the J squat and was like blowing that thing out. And I'm like, way to invent something, Soren, that helps with people's ego.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna put every gym. I got my kids sitting on this. I put a Toyota, but because the lever arm is 10 feet long, I'm gonna be able to do these all day.
Yeah.
You know, like I as I saw him doing it, I was just laughing, which is the oh, dude. I'm gonna attribute it to Atlas Shrugged. If you give me if you give me a long enough lever, I can move the world. But I don't think it's Atlas Shrugged. But as I was looking at it, I kept thinking, like, give me a long enough lever and I'll squat every plate in the gym.
Yeah.
Which is like in the pit shark. So I still want my janky ass calf raise that my brothers told you to throw away.
That was seated calf raise.
Yeah, but that was
which is
seated.
fine.
No,
I'm good with the seated too.
You gotta have, because you gotta
I'm with
train. You gotta train the calves both bent knee and straight leg.
Yeah, I'm with you. So that I do like the idea of having that back, and it's funny how things go for full circle like that, isn't it, Big Doc? Like I throw it away, now it's coming back in. If we ever get this magic money.
Well, the best is when I walked in the gym after we had moved, and I was like, "Did I teach a seminar?" I came in, I'm like, "Where's calf raise?"
And like all 6 of us were like, "Do."
I'm like,
walked out, and like I kind of walked up.
So you're
Hey,
like,
John,
I threw it in the trash. I'm like, what? Then your brothers told me to get rid of that piece of crap. I'm like, oh. And then the worst part is you didn't
So
even.
hold on. You walked into the gym. Where's the calf raise?
Yeah.
Like you knew there's
like who touched the thermostat?
disturbance in the force.
Yeah, it was my favorite piece of equipment because that way I could go over and like my goal was I read this program of like how to get bowling ball calves, and it was like you had to do at least 100 reps of something every single day for eternity. And so I was like, all right, seated calf raise. I'm just going to do sets of 100. And then we were doing manual resistance calves on the calf raise. I don't know if you remember that.
That was before my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like loading up every plate and then holding it down and doing manual resistance calf raise. That was a terrible idea. I think, I can't remember that. It might have been Ben Oliver that I did that to. He's never been the same.
Great calves though.
Yeah. Right? Well, the funny part is when we were down in Florida, I took that picture of Kate walking into the Circle K. And I posted it up at Strange Things Here for the Circle K, and some dude randomly posted there. He's like, Jesus, look at her calves. I'm like, my wife does have huge calves, so hopefully we can balance it out.
Anything else on that topic or?
Shot put. So like a formal, I was in a track mood, I guess. I don't know. But I've always wanted to learn how. So this is our...
We have those. Well, I welded hooks on them, but we could cut those hooks off. I have those like
I
metal
didn't even
balls.
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
We're
have
using those and just messing around with the technique, the rotation twist, and just trying to learn that as a skill.
Are you more of a? Are you looking for more of a spin guy? Or are you more like a glide?
I have no idea. I know nothing. But here was our test. So like,
Well, we know an Olympic shot putter
I
that
know.
won some medals. I'm sure Adam, could dust off his obscurity and maybe throw the old shot for us.
well,
He's
yeah,
been posting me in these
he's
awful.
gonna hit your house.
But he's been posting these great videos of him doing burpees and left hooks. So Adam Nelson's killing me with these burpees and left hook things.
He's getting after it. But yeah, no, our shot put, the coaches didn't teach us technique. They just gave everyone one shot at the shot.
You're in.
And whoever did it the farthest, they just sent over there, and everybody else just went towards whatever. This is like middle school track.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the, you didn't, I don't know. Now knowing like, okay, actually teach and see who's got potential here, it was just weird. So now I got the itch to learn how to do that because I know all these great throwers through our networking.
Yeah.
So
Well,
just
it's a lot
talk
of
some shop.
Well, we know a lot of really big, strong
Talk some
athletes.
shop.
I think we know like a lot of big, strong athletes that were just afraid of violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I think it is. I mean, just guys, big, strong guys that probably should play football, but
A little ring
should
of
I-
safety.
just didn't like violence.
Should I walk up to them and say, hey, my mom signed the permission slip? Can you teach me?
No, that's when your mom doesn't sign the permission slip because she doesn't like violence, and then you just become a
That's
shot
why it's
putter.
funny. Too.
Be like, no, my mom signed the permission slip. I like violence.
What else you got? That can't be all of them. Is that your $1,000 already?
No, then series of different weighted med balls. So lighter and just a Charlie Francis stuff. Because we have that one reactive med ball on a whole collection for different exercises. So I was thinking austere outside stuff that,
Yeah.
I had exposure to in high school, and now
I like
just
it,
want-
but I like the variety, right? So you have a variety of little tools
yeah, just hurdles and balls.
that you can do a ton of shit with.
Oh yeah,
Which is like also seems so, just as the frugal cheap dude, that shit is so expensive.
the
Oh, yeah.
hurdles surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. There's a way we can janky them up.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that we not only it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like the bitch and aluminum ones that all stack together
Yeah.
that have like the plastic there that you can adjust, those are pretty expensive.
because I want to sprint over it, but I know I can't do what I did at JV
Yeah.
high school track. But
Are you making the illusions that you could do it in JV high school
I
track?
fucking do it.
Like a gazelle.
Yeah, literally, one of my friends on the track team, this girl, her mom would go to our JV meets, and her mom complimented me on my technique as a JV track star.
Phone a friend. Bullshit. Call her now.
Okay, I will make this happen.
Oh, we're gonna have to bring her on the podcast just for
Hey, it's
verification.
6:45 here in Texas. I got a quick. Can
I
you get your
haven't
mom
talked to you
there?
in 15 years.
Can I get your mom's
But
number?
we want to see if your mom remembers
Well,
my
I-
track skill.
If I go to the directory, the high school like directory
Oh,
with the home phone numbers, I can actually reach her mom. I have
Do you still
better
have that? You probably like have it like
100%.
he still has it in his house. He's like, don't
I-
worry. I'm
I-
gonna totally call your mom and
I
find
have a
you.
better chance
Yeah.
of hitting her mom than her.
That's funny, dude. Well,
Well, she's at home on quarantine.
I know. So I'm gonna make this happen.
Hey, this is Chris McQuilkin. Who? Remember
JV track 2003.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I think
Get her
it's-
on his next podcast guest.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Speaking of podcast,
The premier podcast in.
strength and conditioning.
Aim.
If you enjoyed this banter, this shtick, if you will, you can catch it every week. Go to powerathletehq.com/radio to learn about our previous episodes, and you can find Power Athlete Radio on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts. But head there and subscribe. And hey, let's say you're a longtime podcast subscriber and you haven't left a review. Go tell them what it's about. Give us those 5 stars and put a little blurb in there. Maybe be helpful, maybe be playful. I don't know.
Helpful,
It's up
be
to you.
playful.
Be both.
Be bold.
Be brief. Be gone.
Be gone. Anything
No,
else?
it's
guys?
be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We've been operating, so we work with the intern level. And it's be bold, be brief, and be gone. Because
GTFO.
no one's coming to help those kids. They are lost souls. That means UTC. But that's it. We got anything else?
I had that. I told you I'd send you guys that picture. I had that strange reel. I'm like, I hope they don't cancel Oktoberfest.
I think your odds are against us on that one. Not being a pessimist, I just don't know how quick the return to normalcy will be for a group of that size.
I just like. I hope it's just like a smoke bomb. Everything goes back to normal.
As Jim Ingle used to say, you can hope in one hand and
Shit in the other.
Tell me which one fills up first.
See you tomorrow.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
From the crew, here's to you. Here's to you. Here's to you.
To you.
System is flawless. New system.